Are you warmed up now? All right. We'll take a brief break. There's a lot of drink. You want refills? Go get it. If you've got cups, ceramic cups, bring them back. We'll get them washed. We'll refill them. Get some sugar. Get some energy. And hey, guess what? This is pretty empty. I know you've been laughing and preoccupied, so we'll leave this here for a few minutes. Fill that up with cash, and we'll be back in a few minutes with Victoria Jackson. I know.
I'm not sure. The donut was sitting there the whole time. So I was just tasting it. I just wanted to know if I stayed at my two. I don't think anyone's sitting
And she was in for a while in a show this summer called the Half Hour Comedy Hour. I have the slightest idea what she's going to do. Would you welcome Victoria Jackson?
I just wanted to say goodbye, Agent Cooper. I want you to take this with you. I just have to finish wrapping it. Christmas Tree by Victoria Jackson.
Of course you can.
Well, ever since I was on here, all my friends thought I was kooky enough to be on your show, except every time we wrote a letter, no one answered, and I even,
I think what she's trying to say, David, is why don't you answer your mail?
Well, let me ask you a question. Were those letters insured? Did they go by bonded courier?
one of them was the one I sent. I wrote a fake secretary's name
Oh, so you're
because
right
I didn't
there.
want you to know I was plugging myself. And then I put on it the mail when you have to sign it and send it back that the person got the letter.
Yeah.
And then I never heard anything.
Well, I think we'd love to have you on the show.
Thank you. We're going to be in New York on May 21st.
Sometime you must come and guest on my show.
Welcome Victoria Jackson.
So what exactly is it that you do?
I'm a lawyer.
Oh. What kind of law?
Public defender.
Oh. You'll see, Eddie. I'll be a famous singer, and then it's gonna drool all over me, and you'll be sorry. I would take
come along. And he'll be big and strong. The man I love. And he comes my way.
Do my best to make him stay. Just because of the way I look. A lot of people ask me, are you as dumb as you appear on the show? The answer is, I don't know. I never watched the show. Just because of what I wear. They said you're wonderful, Mr. Darling, and I just want to say I think you're wonderful. I hate the fact that is off. You don't need that. Just because of how I act. Hey, you want to see my new tattoo? I got it just for this show. It's really cute. And now I fix my hair.
Victoria, what's the matter?
I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. I can't do this stupid Victoria airhead thing anymore. I'm a serious actress and it's really making me sick. I mean, how long can you pound a thing into the ground? You know, what really kills me is that people buy it. The voice, the poems. Go figure.
But wait.
Shut up!
You think you can label me, but don't you dare, 'cause I'm not a bimbo. All the disciples were men, and all the guys in the Bible were men. They weren't just women following Jesus around.
Yeah, you know, it seems like a patriarchal system that women wouldn't endorse necessarily. Why would you endorse that?
You know why there's more old ladies in church? Because all their husbands died.
Well, there you go.
Oh, I'm beginning to worry that you wouldn't make it. This is your first time in a TV studio? How exciting. I couldn't be happier for the two of you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big underground welcome for Victoria Jackson.
Testing. Can you hear me? I don't think I can follow that. Everyone expects me to stay 28. I'm sorry! Well, okay, two blondes walk into a building. You'd think one of them would have seen it. What did the blonde say when she opened the box of Cheerios? Oh, look, donut seeds! Why did the blonde only change her baby's diaper once a month? Because it said right on the label, good for up to 20 pounds. I didn't write it, it was on the internet. So that was the funny portion of the show. Thank you. So, well, I was living in Miami for 15 years because I quit show business to raise a family because I'm the perfect Christian wife and mother. And so I didn't like it very much there because there's only 3 types of people there: Cuban, retired, and naked. And I didn't fit into any of those categories. And sometimes you'll find someone who's all 3, a Cuban, retired, naked person. And, but what happened was, the way I ended up there was, well, first I had to divorce my ex-husband, Satan. Anyone else here ever been married to Satan? Everybody! He gets around. He said he's going to sue me if I keep calling him that in public, so now I just call him the artist formerly known as Satan. Well, I don't think it's a sin to take Satan's name in vain. It doesn't say that in the Bible anywhere. Ask Rusty. And it was a good nickname because he was a fire eater and, you know, he ate fire for a living. he made about $100 a year. I saw his income tax return, and most of it he spent on supplies, disposable Bic lighters, secrets, fire retardant hairspray. And I don't believe in divorce, but you know, I was afraid he was going to set me on fire one day, so I thought maybe there's a loophole in the Bible. And I got half of his stuff. I got a Bic lighter, so I keep it as a memento. And now he's the richest fire eater in the world. I don't know how that happened, but so then I called up my high school sweetheart, and he married me, so I had to live in our hometown, Miami. And I hadn't seen my high school sweetheart in 10 years, and since I'd last seen him, he'd become a cop. And I thought, oh, cops are so brave. They risk their lives, you know, saving us from bad people. And then I met them all, and I found out they go to Hooters for lunch every day to look for bad people. So we had a little talk about that, and then he quit going there, and he went to Wendy's instead. And, so anyway, so that's how I ended up in Miami. And then, see, thank you for coming here. I volunteered to Rusty, and Paul, and I don't know why, except I just wanted to tell you that I have to move back to Miami. I've been here 1 year. It's my favorite church, my favorite town, and yeah. And I've been crying like for 2 weeks. So I started thinking, like, why am I here, and how many times have I left LA? And I thought maybe other people could relate. How many people here are from other states? Right? And how many of you would like to stay here? Yeah, this is like the best place. So I started thinking, I've left Hollywood. Hollywood has a hold on me, okay? And I don't know exactly what it is. The first time I was in a play, I got the bug, and I was completely addicted. I had to play a Greek slave, and I was, you know, I had a feather duster, and I was making the audience laugh for the first time, and I got addicted. And so I was like, how can I get that again? So, you know, that's probably why everyone comes to Hollywood. And so I don't know if it was so much about fame, but that's kind of fun too, and money's fun and all that. But so I came out here when I was 19, and so I've had to leave Hollywood 5 times. And I figured it's not my will, it must be God's will that I'm leaving, because my will would be to stay here, even if I'm out of work. I love the people, I love auditions, I don't even mind rejection. But anyway, so I'm tired of my act, so I was going to just tell you about the 5 times I've had to leave Hollywood. Well, I'll do a little of my act when it gets quiet like this. Okay. Okay, so what's my corny act? Let me see. Oh, okay, so my husband can't leave his police personality at work. Sometimes in bed he puts his arm around me and says, do you have any idea why I pulled you over? For real. And once I overslept and he drew a chalk outline around me. See, that's way better than silence. That's the rest of my act. So I'm in Miami. Oh, okay, so the first time I had to leave Hollywood was because I had a nervous breakdown. What happened was I was a Baptist virgin, and I was in Hollywood, and I did one thing wrong. I did not get involved in a church group. So I was like, oh, I've been in church my whole life. I need to get a car, I need to get a job, I need to get $1 of food, and then an agent, and you know. So it wasn't my priority, and that was my big mistake, because I ended up hanging out with people from work. And I was the French maid. I was a cigarette girl at this club at night, and the American Cancer Society secretary in the daytime. In the daytime, I had to tell people how to quit smoking, and it made me get really interested in smoking because I had to like talk about it all day. And then at night, I was going cigarettes, cashews, and this French maid costume. And so the fire eater was there. We hung out every night. So he was like, "You want to go out?" I'm like, "I'm not going out with you. You're promiscuous." And you know, after a year, I was like, I don't have any friends. I don't have any family here. And then I found out my true love, who I'm married to now, was marrying a girl from church back home. So I got mad at God, very big mistake. And I was like, fine, I did everything right now, I'm lonely and broke. And so I went to the fire eater's house, and that's what made me have a nervous breakdown. Because like, you know, when I went in there, there's like this cloud of smoke. And I started giggling, and this girl goes, "She has a contact high." And I go, "What's that?" And then, like, they were playing music, and there was finches and doves and ferrets everywhere. And I was like, Christians should be like this. Christians don't have ferrets and, you know, and finches. And, well, he had doves for his magic act, and finches were in the cage with the doves and everything. But I heard this loud whisper from God in my ear, and it said, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath light with darkness?" And I could hear it so plain, and I remember going, "I know, but I'm taking him to church." So I took him to church, and then he taught me about fire eater world, and then his house burned down. No, for real. And this is not my act, because I'm tired of my act. And so then, like, I heard him say to his brother, "Did you get the stash?" And I was like, "Stash? Like, are they pirates or something?" And then I thought, hey, they might be drug dealers. And that's why those people kept dropping by all day. I'd say, why do those people drop by? They don't stay very long, you know. So anyway, that's why I had a nervous breakdown. Because you can't really be in, there is a spiritual war in our world, Ephesians 6:12. And it's very real. It's invisible, but it's real. And so I went home, and I had burned I wanted to look like Bernadette Pierre, so I got a permanent, and my hair was all burned off. And I was really fat and everything. And my mom goes, "This is what Hollywood did to you." And so then I went on the powder diet, and I watched 700 Club every morning, and I typed all day, temporary secretary. So then I ended up back in Hollywood. I don't know, it was like this whole, you know, power over me. And then when I first came here, it was because I thought, I can only chase a whim now because I'm 20, and you know, I'll never get to chase a whim again. I'll have kids and a husband, and I won't get to chase a whim. This is a good time. And so I'm back, and then the second time I had to leave Hollywood was because I got Saturday Night Live, and which was kind of and I wasn't like qualified for it. I didn't know voices. I never took improv. So it might have been a God thing, because when I was 6, I was in the Baptist church my whole life, and I remember a sermon in Isaiah, and God said, "Whom shall I send?" And Isaiah said, "Send me." And I always remember thinking, God, I'll tell people about you, but please don't send me to Africa. But some people have that passion. What? Some people, Steve, you have that passion for for that country, right? And like, I just was like, please, I don't want to go there. I'm scared of bugs and everything. So anyway, so I had to leave LA again. I didn't want to leave my Laurel Canyon house because I love it here. But anyway, I'm there, and I'm not qualified. I auditioned, and everyone asked me, "How did you get on SNL?" All the time. So I wanted to tell you. Well, I auditioned. That's the short version. Thank you. Good night. I'm glad you enjoyed the blonde jokes at the beginning of the program. Well, and so the long version is, I was, let's see, I had a baby, and I had a fire eater who didn't work very much, And I got a phone call on my Kermit the Frog phone in 1986. And they said, would you like to audition for Saturday Night Live tomorrow? I don't know how they got my number. It didn't go through my agent. And I said, yeah. And they said, oh, well, I think they saw me on Johnny Carson. That's how they heard of me. I got on Johnny Carson from doing a handstand poetry 6-minute act at the place where the fire eater was. Every night for 2 years. So finally Johnny's people saw it. So anyway, I say yes. They go, when you get, we have a ticket waiting for you at LAX at 8 a.m. And I was like, okay. And they said, bring your characters. I was like, okay. So I hung up. I was like, I don't have any characters. I don't have any voices. I do have a ukulele and a handstand. So I flew to New York the next day and I auditioned. And then Lawrence, they said, stay an extra day. He liked your audition. He wants to talk to you. And then he said, so you're married? Yes, to a fire eater. You have just had a baby? Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, your audition was very funny, but I don't think you're very strong in characters. I said, well, I can talk like that. And he goes, and he starts walking me to the door, like, to get rid of me. And I go, I could do a character like this. And he's like, and I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, like, if I wanted you to be like Diane Keaton. I said, well, I would wear men's clothes and look at the ground a lot. And then he goes, well, like if I wanted you to be a Midwestern housewife, I go, well, I am a housewife, and my parents are from the Midwest. And he goes, well, and so I thought, oh man, I was so close, but I don't think I got it. So I flew back to LA, and I was supposed to be on Johnny Carson in 2 weeks for like my 5th time. And I was like, what if I continue my audition on The Tonight Show? That'll impress Lauren. So I rented all these tapes, and I tried to copy Tina Turner and Terry Gott, and I realized I'm terrible at it. And I thought, well, what if I do it bad, but people still laugh? That will work, because it's all about making people laugh. So this is what happened on Johnny then. And the guy asked me, they flew me to New York and everything, and he asked me if I could do characters. I did really bad Tina Turner. Right. I like, what's love got to do this. And then Johnny's like, Tina Turner? And I'm like, yeah. What's love got to do that. But then the last one I did, I go,
John, why do you want to work for my company?
well, now, John. Why would you like to work for my company?
A little more, madame.
Well, this is the one that I made up. Because
That's not a famous celebrity? You just made one up?
no, I just made it up because
How can I guess? Who is it?
Oh, that's a joke. Okay, so then I thought, I know I got it now, because that was a great moment. And then so the next Sunday night, I got a call at 10 p.m. and they said, congratulations, you're on Saturday Night Live. There'll be a plane waiting for you at LAX tomorrow at 8 a.m. And like Mission Impossible, you know, with the tape and the smoke and everything. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I hung up Kermit the Frog's leg. And then I went, ah! And then my husband threw up because he didn't handle stress well. And then my baby started crying because she heard me scream. And then we had to pack and then get on a plane. And so 6 years was very exciting. And I don't know, my favorite moment was when I made up the Bimbo song, because I made it up and Steve Martin was the host and Sting was the music, and I was like, I can't believe Sting and Steve are watching me. And it was very, very exciting, but it's kind of hard to live after that because everything else is kind of a letdown after that. It's It's like, oh, I won the lottery, big deal. I'm not Sting, you know. So, but while I was there, I kept thinking, what am I doing here? And I thought, this is my mission field. I mean, you know, since I was 6, and I said, send me. My dad used to be a gymnastics coach, and he always witnessed to his gymnasts all the time. And one time he said to Maureen Fowler, he said, Vicky, come here. He couldn't remember anything. He goes, tell her John 3:16. And so I told her, and so I saw him witnessing in the real world, like in his job as a gymnastics coach, all sweaty, drinking tab. And he would drive us to gymnastic meets and tell them the theory of relativity and the second law of thermodynamics, and then, you know, why, you know, creation makes more sense than evolution, you know. So he was like a PE coach who graduated from the University of Chicago, and, you know. So he was like an intellectual Christian. He wasn't an emotional Christian. He thought it philosophically made the most sense, like C.S. Lewis. And so, you know, I thought, well, this must be my mission field. And so I'm in the show, and nobody was doing drugs because everyone was too ambitious, and it was the Just Say No era. And everyone just wanted to be a star. And so one time Al Franken, well, people say, what was it like to be a Christian there? And basically it was the same as being a Christian anywhere. Like, my husband was on the SWAT team. He was the only Christian on the SWAT team. And they'd, like, shoot people and then go to a bar, right? And so, and, like, he was the only Christian. So it was kind of like the same thing. And so, and only about three people hated me for being a Christian there. 2 of them were the Turners who made that show, Third Rock from the Sun. They kind of hated me, but anyway. So I'm there, and one time there was a skit where I was supposed to pray in the middle of it. I was supposed to play an extreme Christian. It was the Tammy Faye time, big girl, and whose mascara was running all the time. And I said, well, you know, I can make fun of Christians, but the praying part bothered me. I was like, I don't think I could kneel and pray in a comedy skit. And so I waited in front of Lauren's office for an hour, because you have to wait an hour because he's very important, and all the time. And then when he wants you to leave, he always gets on the phone with Steve or, what's his other best friend? Steve Martin or, Paul Simon. So then, hey, are you one of Lauren's friends? Are you going to tell him on me? Oh yeah, so here goes Steve, or hi Steve, or hi Paul, and that means you're supposed to leave, you know. And so I waited, and then I go, Lauren, you know, I don't mind doing this skit, but I don't think I can pray, because I think that's really talking to God, and I would probably start crying or get struck by lightning. So, and he goes, I understand, Victoria, no problem. And so then he gave it to Julia Sweeney, and then she did it at dress rehearsal, and nobody laughed, so it never got on the show. But, you know, we got to do what, you know, we had control over the writing. We were supposed to write our own material, and I was very weak in that area, so that's why I wasn't on as much as Mike Myers, who was very strong in that area. But anyway, then my one other story was that Al Franken came up to me once in the hall, and he said, can I speak with you for a minute alone? It kind of offends me that you act ditzy, because I heard you in the meeting and you're very intelligent. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, I said, well, I don't think I'm fake. I hate fakeness, but well, I do have congenital palatal insufficiency, which when I was the temporary secretary, I worked for these throat specialists. They said, can we look in your throat? And I was typing, you know, and so they examined it for free, and they said I had that, which means from birth your palate is insufficient. And so then Al Franken was like, and I go, but you know, maybe I'm my personality is overcompensating, because what I'm really thinking is that everyone here is dying and going to hell, and I'm supposed to tell them about Jesus. And his face turned white. wrote to me again. For real. And then, like, he wrote me one more thing about term limits, which is kind of funny because I didn't know anything about politics. And I was like, what does term limits mean? Because I don't want to do a sketch if I don't believe in it. And he's like, you know, they should limit. So now I think it's kind of funny because I wonder if he believes in term limits now. Yeah. I'm hoping he believes that he should be there like a month. And then someone else should fill in. You know, to keep, you know, so the power won't get out of control. So that's like how it was then. That was very exciting. So I was going to try to sing a song from each of these times I had to leave Hollywood. The first time I had to leave Hollywood, well, I forgot to sing that song. But basically, if you can go back, if you can remember that phase of my show. And, you know, picture this. I'm broke. I have this fire eater husband who scares me. And I lived in an apartment next to the Pasadena freeway. And it was about $100 a month for one room, and I had a cat named Thunder, and she sprayed all the corners to prove it was her territory, you know, make sure everyone knew that was her territory. So, and that was my only friend, and I was very sad and lonely, and like, what am I doing here? I should have a real life and be married and everything. So, then I wrote this, "Use Me" by Victoria Jackson. The actress cries out from her lonely apartment, "Use me, please use me." The abandoned wife in her curlers and nightgown says, "Use me, please use me." The man in the sombrero hat at the bar, he says, "Use me, come on, use this." Silently everyone desperately wants to be used. Amused I see my calico cat straining her neck near my knee, silently purring, "Meow, use me." Comes on the street and hops on the beat, cry out, "Use me, oh, use me." Silently everyone desperately wants to be used. Isn't it funny just how we were made? When we are used we feel jaded. When we are needed, we cry out for help. Leave me alone, I'm not at home. I won't answer my phone. Isn't it funny how everyone thinks they're being used? Wait, no, there's more! Girl on the corner of Sunset and Vine, she says, "Use me, come on, use me." The film star who's fading, who's tired of waiting, says, "Use me, take a chance, use me." The man drinking coffee near the messy-haired girl, they harmonize, "Use me, use me." Silently everyone desperately wants to be. Isn't it funny just how we were made? When we are used we feel jaded. When we are needed we cry out for help. Leave me alone, I'm not at home. I won't answer my phone. Isn't it funny how everyone thinks? Isn't it funny how everyone thinks? Isn't it funny how everyone thinks they're being used? Thank you. Thank you. See, I really just want to be a singer, but I have a bad voice, so. But when they said they were having Friday night singers, I was like, I'll volunteer. I'll pretend I'm a comedian so I can sing a song. Okay, so anyway, then I got to do that on the Johnny Carson show because, where's my glasses? Because I was always trying to come up with something to say on the show, so I sang that on the show. And he had me back again. And so, anyway, the second time I had to leave Hollywood, well, the songs around then were the Bimbo song, and well, I was having a very bad marriage because God said, "Be not unequally yoked together," and I disobeyed him, so you have to reap what you sow.
And even though God forgives people and redeems them, you have to suffer the consequences of your actions. So basically, it was very difficult at home, and my husband was not eating very much fire. He was drinking a lot of hidden vodka. And so then the next time, okay, so I come back to Hollywood. And the next time I have to leave Hollywood is when I marry my true love, and I have to decide between my career and true love. And it seems like life is like all about God's will or my will. Is this God's will or is this my will? And career and family. Do you guys struggle with career and family? It's like, it's good for my career and bad for my family, or it's bad for my career and good for my family. It's like never happens exactly together. Anyway, so I decided that love was more important than fame and riches. And so I left my house in Laurel Canyon to move to the swamp, and where no one speaks English. And I got a tattoo. Is it a sin to get a tattoo? No. Well, I was kind of torn, but I wanted a permanent physical symbol to represent my emotional pain. But anyway, it was very small, like a dot. But you could think it was a freckle, but I know it's a tattoo. And so I went to Miami, and basically I wrote songs like this in Miami. Now, this husband is a Christian. He even reads the Bible when no one's looking. I was loved like a baby who is wanted and cherished. I was touched like a rose upon a cheek. I was heard like a sermon on spiritually hungry ears. I was looked at as a lady of the week. I was enveloped like a fetus in a womb. I was treated like a pharaoh in an Egyptian tomb. I was lifted up as a sacrifice to God. I was loved like a man who made me feel like a lifetime. I was loved by a man who made me feel like a lifetime. I was loved by a man who ravished me. Thank you. Was that too edgy? Not too edgy? Real life church. Real life. And so then I was trapped in the suburbs, and I painted my living room purple to look like the set of Friends, because it looked like they were having fun all the time. Monica's apartment was lavender. So then I wrote a song called My Purple Cage, and it's not funny, so it's not in my act. And then I wrote this song. Nobody respects a suburbanite. They think you've settled for the lowest form of life. You must not be ambitious if you've got a house, a car, 2 kids, a dog, and you are someone's wife. But ooh, if you were Lebanese, you would be so cool, breaking every rule. And if you want to get a kick, you kiss your lover on the street and knock the Baptists off their feet. You know, but you know, there's kids here. That song is like, you know, pro-suburbanite, but sarcastic. And, so then I was so bored, so I started painting, and that was terrible. And I wrote my life story, nobody wanted to read it. And I got 13 rejection letters. So then I started doing stand-up, and I don't have an act, as you noticed. And so I did it 13 years, you know, just milking the Saturday Night Live thing for as long as I could. And so then I thought, why am I in front of all these people telling dumb blonde jokes that I didn't even write? And that's like #1 rule in show business, don't do that. And I thought, I wish I could just tell them John 3:16. At least they would leave with something substantial. And so then I slipped it into one of my songs. And also what happened was Phil Hartman died. And that was like very shocking to everyone, because I knew him, I knew his wife. And I started thinking about death. And the guy who put me on the Tonight Show, he died, the talent scout, Jim McCauley. And So this is the song I wrote about that. A nice ukulele. You can't buy talent in a guitar store. You can't buy talent in a guitar store. But you can buy lots of guitar strings and lots of curvy wooden things. You can't buy talent in a guitar store. Is that it? Yeah. Store. But you can buy a nice ukulele. I got my kids a hamster the other day. They loved him to death, you could say. I told them, hold him gentle. It's just a song. Your kids loved your hamster to death? Got my kids a hamster the other day. They loved him to death, you could say. I told them, hold him gentle, but they made him do ballet. You can't buy a hamster that knows ballet, but you can buy a nice ukulele. He's a musician. My husband said just the other day, look at the sunset going down that way. It seems to go slow the whole day long, but it goes much faster when it's near the horizon.